Here we have a beautiful example of a 2021 Tesla Model 3 Performance. One amazing vehicle, one amazing performance vehicle, might I add. You know, the Tesla Model 3 is a great everyday driver. I know myself, I have a Tesla Model 3. I've had mine for about 6 months. You know, being teased by Teslas, you know, one of my jobs as a used car manager is to buy cars for inventory. So I've been buying Teslas a good amount for inventory for the past couple of years. And after driving them on the highway, experiencing the autopilot, just experiencing the product, it just got the best of me and I ended up purchasing one myself. No regrets. In fact, I have become so spoiled by my Tesla, I really don't want to drive anything else, especially in the highway with the autopilot. It's just such a nice vehicle to drive. It's so quiet, it's so smooth. The infotainment system's amazing. It's like an extension of my living space. You have this huge giant screen with lots of information. You can stream music with premium connectivity. You can make radio stations. Here's some recent you know, radio stations we were listening to in this vehicle. If you like stick figure, you can have your stick figure radio station. If you like California, I mean, if you like Red Hot Chili Peppers, you can have a Red Hot Chili Peppers radio station. It'll play some of their music. Oh man. A little rainy today, but I am nice and comfortable in this lovely Model 3 Performance. 2021 is a great year for the Model 3. It came out, 2017 was the first model year for the Model 3, no pun intended. But 2021, we probably saw some of the most significant upgrades yet on the Model 3. They restyled the interior a little bit. We have a redesigned center console, definitely I think a better design. You have a wireless charger. So for 2021 on the Performance, you have these new Uber turbine wheels, which is a nice upgrade. Before they had a different style of wheels for the Performance version of the Model 3. The Uber turbine ones are absolutely stunning. And then another important feature for 2021 that was added to all the Model 3s for 2021 is this. Go to additional information, and if we look right here, we see cabin heater heat pump. Obviously, we know people put heat pumps in their houses because they're much more efficient for cooling and heating. Well, the same thing applies for a vehicle. The older Teslas, 2021 and newer Model 3 or an older Model 3s had, I think it was called a resistive heater, which is okay, but the heat pump makes this vehicle a lot more efficient, and when adding the heat pump, that greatly improved the range of the Performance and the non-Performance Model 3. So that's a nice upgrade for 2021. Having that heat pump makes a big difference. Okay, so this is 12,373 miles. Sometimes it's not always easy to decipher if a Model 3 is, or a Model Y is a Performance or not. At least in 21 they made it easier. They made the Uber turbine wheel standard. On some of the earlier Performance versions of the Model 3 and Y, you can actually have regular wheels. So really visually, it's very hard to tell it apart from a regular Model 3 dual motor. But the little hint that you can see from Tesla is with the Model Y and the Model 3, under the dual motor, they'll have a red line. And that indicates that it's a Performance, so it's an easy giveaway. Obviously, you can add a red line on the back of the vehicle, I guess, if you want, but you can't add a red line to the software screen. That's one thing that you can't you can't hack. Autopilot is traffic-aware cruise control. Allows the vehicle to brake and accelerate in its own lane. It's basically what we call level 2 self-driving. The vehicle is driving. It's not going to change lanes like the full self-driving, but it will stay in its own lane. It will follow gentle bends in the corners, and it will move the flow of the traffic all the way to a complete stop. And unlike some systems which are designed just to be used on the highway, the autopilot you can use on regular roads. Here's me using autopilot in the older Model 3 just on a regular back road near my house. It's great for stop and go traffic. This is one of the reasons why I really don't want to drive anything else. You can give me a fancier car with a posher interior and all that stuff, but to me, one of the ultimate luxuries is a vehicle that can drive itself or semi-drive itself. And to me, after experiencing almost anything, no one seems to do it better than a Tesla. My Model 3 has a full self-driving, which is amazing. You know, there are still some limitations to it. You can buy it right now for $15,000. You can add it to this vehicle, $15,000 or $200 a month. Luckily, I was able to get my Model 3 with it already. The person bought it new, so I didn't have to pay any extra money for it, but that's pretty hard to find. But I can tell you, if you do want to experience the self-driving, subscribe for a month for $200. It's pretty amazing, and I can tell you it's progressed by leaps and bounds over the past 6 months. And that's one amazing thing about Teslas is with the over-the-air updates, it's a vehicle that gets better. Even though my Tesla, is 6 months older from when I bought it, it's better in a lot of ways. My full self-driving got better. They've upgraded the autopilot. They've upgraded the user interface. They've added features. So it's a vehicle that's constantly getting better. So even though it gets older, kind of like your iPhone, you get over-the-air updates to still keep it current. They did one update not too long ago where they added blind spot cameras. It goes on and on. We have this amazing touchscreen, so you can watch Netflix, Hulu, Disney. You can't do it while it's driving, SBM Park, but maybe your spouse is in the grocery store, you're in the car with the kids. Maybe I've often, I'm waiting at the airport to pick up someone. You can watch YouTube. You also have a karaoke, which you can do while you're driving. You just have to say that, you're a passenger, not a driver. They're adding video games. Some video games you can use the touchscreen. You can use the steering wheel. Some you just have a USB Xbox controller, and you plug it in to the USB ports, and you can play video games. Then we have the toy box where it can do a light show. You have a boom box where you can actually talk through your horn, play music through your horn, or you can change the sound of your horn. I do it right now, but we have a person over there. I don't want to confuse them. Then you have the silly things like the whoopee cushion. There's a multi-track recorder. If you want to cut an album here, you can cut a whole album inside your Tesla. Sketchpad. Some of the things are kind of silly. Some of the things are actually really helpful. These Google Maps are really nice. You can kind of focus in for a higher resolution. Sometimes it's limited by the data speed. It relies on a cell phone data network. But for premium connectivity, being able to stream this, get the Google Maps, stream music, stream video, it's well worth it. If not, you can also use your cell phone as a hotspot. Then you can have the regular illustrated maps too if you prefer those. Man, oh man, so much to talk about. I always tend to ramble on about Teslas. The climate control system is very intuitive to use too. It's just like using an iPad. Heated seats. Also for 21 they added a heated steering wheel. That was a new feature too. You have dog mode, camp mode. You can pull up live camera views of the outside of the vehicle. They have a camera here, so if you have it in dog mode, you can actually pull up the camera and check on your pooch, which is nice. Man, just so much to talk about. I can just go on and on about this car. It is really kind of ridiculous. All right, what's next? So there's not a whole lot of options in the Model 3. This does have some optional equipment. The premium white interior, that was an extra cost option. I think it was $1,000 or $1,500 for that. And then the exterior color, black is a premium color, so that was an extra cost option. So some of the extra features on this are the premium white interior and the black exterior. Here we have these Uber turbine wheels. Looks absolutely beautiful. Then we have the red brake calipers. That's another hint of it being a performance, but I can tell you actually some of the earlier performances, those were optional, having the upgraded brakes. So not all of the pre-21 Model 3s have the red brake calipers, but for 21 they made them standard along with the Uber turbine wheels, which makes sense. I guess if you're getting a performance, you might as well get all the performance features. And even though the Model 3 is a compact vehicle, it has lots of interior space because it's not built like a conventional gas-powered vehicle. There's no gas tank, there's no engine, there's no transmission behind the engine, there's no drive shafts going through the middle of the vehicle, so that pretty much frees up lots of interior space. The batteries are very low in the vehicle, and the weight of the batteries keep this thing planted to the ground. You won't believe the handling of this thing. It absolutely sticks to the ground, and with all-wheel drive, this thing launches like a rocket. Tesla doesn't advertise power outputs on their Model 3 Performance, but some people speculate it's between 400 and 450 horsepower. And unlike a gas car where you have to rev to make that power, you have that power instantaneously. As soon as you hit the throttle, there's no hesitation, there's no thinking, it's just immediate thrust. It's like having your own amusement park ride. 0 to 60, 3.5 seconds. I think the top speed is right around 160 miles an hour. There are very few gas-powered performance vehicles that can keep up to this with this Model 3. Maybe with top end acceleration, that's when gas cars have their advantage. Okay, so when we get up to 120, 130 miles per hour, then those C63s and the 600 horsepower gas, performance vehicles, 600-700 horsepower gas performance vehicles, they'll start catching up to you. but how often do you go 120, 130 miles per hour? Most of the performance we experience in our daily driving is from like 0 to 60 or 0 to 100. And from 0 to 60, 0 to 100, instantaneous, you know, thrust, all-wheel drive. There are very few gas-powered cars that can touch this thing. Hey, if you want to rob a bank, take a Model 3 Performance, but make sure you have it charged. In fact, not too long ago, I saw in the news some people decided to do a robbery and their Tesla was a getaway car, which I guess was kind of smart, but unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, most criminals are not very smart. They're stupid, and they didn't have a full charge. So right after doing their crime, they easily found them at the Tesla charger charging their Tesla. So I guess if you're gonna rob a bank, make sure you have a full charge. But I can tell you, put me behind the wheel of this thing with a full charge, have me as a getaway driver, they're gonna have a hard time catching me. Well, there you have it. Nice video on a beautiful Model 3 Performance. One of the fastest vehicles on the road, one of the most high-tech, one of the most efficient electric vehicles, also one of the safest. You know, if you value your safety, you value your family's safety, the 4 safest vehicles on the road are Teslas: the Model 3, the Model Y, the Model X, and the Model 3. Don't take my word for it. The NHTSA tested, crash tested the Model 3, and by every single metric they have, it's the lowest probability of injury in an accident out of any other vehicle on the road. So that's why they call the Model 3 a category killer, because it dominates pretty much in every category it competes with: performance, efficiency, over-the-air updates, technology, and safety. I'm sure there's others that I'm not covering as well, but you get the idea. Thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you soon, and have a wonderful day.